Hey everybody, Dave here from Adora Audio, and I wanted to take a few minutes to show you how to play We Built This City from Starship, or Jefferson Starship, depending on where you're from. I actually recorded this video already, so some of you that have seen the old video, and I say old, it's like 5 days old, you feel free to watch that video, that's fine. The one thing for those of you that haven't seen that video or it was unavailable, I wanted to let you know that that video was actually blocked due to copyright concerns from YouTube. They've been cracking down. I don't know if it's just me lately or I'm not sure exactly what it is, but they've been cracking down a lot harder lately, for me regardless, in copyright concerns and considerations. So long story short, the old video I made was, I'm going to go out on a limb and just say it was too close to the original, and they thought it was the original, and there was copyright concerns. That's the bad news. The good news is, from my perspective, if my sounds are that close that they think it's the same song and they're flagging my video for copyright, freaking awesome. That just works out to my and your benefit because I'm making this song available. So you can have it on your own Chronos. So I will play it in just 2 seconds. I wanted to give a little bit of background real quick. I took this song on as a challenge to see if I could do it better than their own keyboardists could when playing live. I've listened to, they've got 2 keyboardists that they use when they play live, and it doesn't sound like the album. Like there's some sounds that are kind of like, oh yeah, okay, I can kind of see where you got that, but it's not like the album, and I thought I could do a better job. So that's what this video is. I'm going to show you how to play it using the sound pack that I've created for the core Chronos from my website on adora.ca, and I'll leave a link in the description below so you can access it directly. You don't have to go searching through the site. You can pick it up right away if you want. So let me show you how to play the song. So right off the bat, I will let you know this video might be a little bit longer because there's a lot going on in this song. So first off, you've got this bellish pad sound. Okay, so what's going on here? It's basically B flat or B5 technically, and then we've got this bell. It's actually the same sound throughout the whole thing. It's just that particular sound has this bell effect. So what am I doing here? I'm doing a climb down on the right hand and a climb up on the left hand. So together, it's like this. So I go to B flat, and then C over B flat, and it goes to the next sound. So there's a lot of stuff happening here. I'll break it down after I play it. Yeah, if I can play it right. So I fell out of the groove there for a second, so my apologies. So here's what's happening, is we've got this DX-style clav synth, and throughout the song, in a bunch of different places, you're going to hear this kind of wobbly voice. Right? So that wobbly voice, it appears through the whole song in a bunch of different spots, and it's already taken care of in the patches for you, but I just wanted to point it out so you know that regardless of which voicing you choose, and you can do it however you want, there's certain ones that you'll want to make sure that you're capturing. So this is a guide. You don't have to play it this way. This is just the recommended way to play it. So it's F and then B flat over F. Now you'll notice there's a real kind of gritty synth that happens below B flat here. Yeah, it's nasty, and it's gnarly, and it's metallic, and I love it. So anyway, so there's also this chiff flutes. It's a metallic chiff flute sound. Okay, you have to play this fairly softly, and when I say that, I mean if you play too hard, you get that sound because that's part of the hits, right? So that's something that you may need to practice a little bit, is just getting comfortable like playing not as hard. And all this is it's an F sus2. I guess there's that E in there too. So I'll play it slowly just so you have it. So that's the pattern. So the other thing too is that the foot pedal doesn't affect this. So if I play these chords, right, they stay there, which is exactly how it happens on the album. And then play harder, and that's just C second inversion, F first inversion. So this brings us to the first verse, where we're basically playing a patty clav. Now you still have that voice again, that wobbly voice. So we go. So what am I playing? I'm playing F sus2 over F. Well, not really over F. I just say over F because this left hand doesn't really change much. It's still playing this F. So then we go B flat, second inversion, first inversion, sorry. Then we go E flat, first inversion, C, first inversion, and then F. I guess you can play the block chord there. Then what happens? Because it does that twice. Then it goes to these bigger hits. So it's F second inversion on your right hand, then C first inversion, and then D second inversion. Okay. Now the only one that's really important is this is that kind of pattern, because there's the wobbly synth I was talking about. It's got a melodic part that's somewhat important in there. So if you go... Okay, so basically what you're doing is you do those hits, and I'm going to call these the hits, okay? So that's the hits. So what we're doing is we're doing the D minor, then B flat over B flat root over D, and then we're doing F over C, and then C. Okay. Then we have like their bigger synth hits. They go. Okay, and the point to know about this is that you stay on the same patch just this one time. And what I mean by that is these hits normally have their own dedicated patch that kind of comes with them. So it all together goes like this. Switch. So there's that pattern again, the flutes. Now, this is one of those 3-part keyboard things where, you know, if your buddy's hanging around, he can just come over and go, because you're going to be busy going, you know. These 3 keyboard parts actually happen at the exact same time, so it goes. Okay, that's the left hand. The middle hand goes. Okay, so that's the middle hand. The right hand does the. And the reason I actually opted out of leaving or doing this one instead of these bass notes is because if you're playing with a band, you're already going to have a bass guitar covering the low notes. So there's no point, to me, there's no point in duplicating. I mean, you can if you want to. It's certainly up to you. But for me, I will go to the... Okay. So I purposely did this with the right hand because immediately after that are those hits. So you actually change the sound. So here's what it kind of sounds like in succession. So there's like 3 sounds. Okay. So you can see the patches change if you're watching this part of the screen. So what's happening here? I'm actually playing the hits again, but the only difference is on this F, there is a backwards piano synth slide up. And it kind of builds and that sort of thing. And it's time to the album. So as long as you play kind of the right time roughly, and the band's playing the right time roughly, it should roughly work out as the theory would have it. And then we go to the chorus. Okay, so what is the chorus? So it's "We built the city" in B flat. Now, the right hand is playing F, C, and then B flat sus2. So it's like this. And then we have this. It's like your counterpoint melody. Okay, so we built the city on... So you're playing like... I call this the Scott Joplin thirds. And you're doing a climb up on your left hand. So it goes... And you can do it this way too. So the second time through it goes, "We built this city on rock and roll." So it's doing it's a C, F over A, and then B flat. What's important to note here is the second time on the album when it goes like this. The first time it has that buzzy synth. You can hit switch 2 though, and it'll turn it into the bell sound. It's actually the bell sound's always there, it just turns off the buzzy synth. Personally, it doesn't bother me. I just left it there for accuracy purposes. Some of you are gluttons for punishment and want to practice that, so you could be going like... I can't do it fast enough because I haven't really played it that way, but you get the point. So then it goes back into your standard verses. And then verse 2. Now verse 2 is a little bit different because of that little horn thing that I just did. This is another scenario where it would be really great to have a third hand because there's these chords. Now they actually do that pitch bending thing that I'm suggesting here. You can leave them out, like just still do the chords and do this kind of horn thing with the right hand. You can leave the horns out entirely and just do the chords. You know, whatever. I left all of those options in there, so you can do it however you want. You could probably also do it something like this. You know, like... You know... you could do just those chords because you'll probably have a bass player holding the F down. So there's different ways to approach playing it. For me, I tend to do this. What was the next chord? Yeah, that one. Again, you can do it however you want. I just wanted to leave those options there. Then it goes into those big hits again. So I change the sound and it goes. Then we do the punches. So this is the part that's interesting. We do the hits with one sound, the punches with another sound, and then we do the build-up with yet another sound. So all together, it basically sounds like this. And chorus again. Okay. Now, after the second chorus, it does something a little bit different where it kind of hangs on the B flat, and there's this melody and a guitar that comes in at the same time. Once again, another scenario where it would be good to have a third arm to do stuff with, because what you're going to do is you're going to hold... It's basically B flat and then G over B flat and then B flat, or C over B flat and then B flat again. Now what I've done, on a single note I've created a harmony. So all you need to do is play kind of the root chord here. And so what's happening on the right hand is it's what it should be doing is it should be following the guitar. But if you can't pitch bend if you're playing these. Hence the third arm, have just that grow out and kind of work for you. So together it kind of sound like this. Now, I purposely left this sound totally dry because if you're playing it with a guitar, you want it to stand out a little bit. You could bury it in effects. That's entirely up to you. It's simple to route. But I want it to stand out slightly, so it's panned it's panned wide, so it stands out a little bit. So you have this. And then you go into the next sound, which is part of your bridge. And this is, again, touch sensitive. So if you play it fairly lightly, you get that little, right? Play it a little bit harder, you get the bigger brass. So if you go... So you've got that, if you play it soft, it's that wobbly bell sound again. Now on the actual album, it goes like... And then it holds it for like, I don't know, 2 bars or 3 bars or something crazy. Anyway, because of how smooth sound transition works, I couldn't find a good way to have that continue running while playing everything else. So unfortunately, unless you've got a second Kronos and a third arm and a second keyboard player and whatever else, it's going to be a little bit tricky to get that all happening all at the same time. So at any rate, that section still sounds like this. There. Then it goes into verse 3, which is the exact same as verse 2. And so on. Then you have this pre-chorus hits. Now, this time, the last time it plays it, there's this melody that happens. Actually, I lied. This is the wobbly bell that hangs on for a long time. It goes, So, basically, when it goes to, And if you want to make it sound a little bit fuller, if you wanted to not emphasize the melody as much, you could just play the chords here. So in this case, it's D minor, B flat over D, F over C, and then C. And then you do your hits again. Switch. Excuse me. So something tricky about this one too. When it does those hits, it does them at twice the speed that it did before. So normally it goes one, right? I didn't play very hard, but you get the point. So normally it plays those hits like that speed. Well, this time when you play those hits, you're going to extend this part. Normally that's where it would go dun, dun, dun. So you're going to play it twice as fast. Then your punches. Back into this blippy. And now you do it normal. Then the final chorus. And basically you're gonna be vamping on the B flat right through to the very end. It's a fade out in the original, so however your band decides to end it is totally fine. So that all being said, I just wanted to give you that kind of walkthrough on this is one of the ways that you could approach playing it. Again, use whatever chord inversions you want. This is totally open. This was just my interpretation of if I were to play it live and I were to rehearse it, how do I think I would go about making it work to try and incorporate as many things as possible to make it sound as close to the album as I possibly could make it. So if you have any questions, comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Like I said, I'll leave a link to the website on adora.ca so you can download this one if you wanted to. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much. Bye.